What's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen. Get some.
My dad would always give me good advice. Like, he'd always try to have sex talks with me. I'd be like 8. The motherfucker's trying to tell me about sex. He'd be like, Gary, what's the quickest way to make a woman come? It's like, what, Dad? Who gives a fuck? Thanks. His classic one was, Gary, what's got 2 thumbs and likes to eat pussy? This guy. Thanks, Dad. Sex talk.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. You can listen to this on iTunes. Just search Gary Owen /Get Some, or check us out under United We Cast. Also on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube, youtube.com/Gary Owencom. And that's where you'll get some pictures and videos and visuals if I talk about certain things. As we're recording this, I'm recording this particular episode on my stepdad's birthday. Boom. One of my favorite people. And I'll just start off with a crazy stepdad story since it is his birthday. I remember I did a play probably 10 years ago. And it was one of those, it wasn't a gospel play, but it was one of those plays where we toured the whole country. And it was like, you know, we saw Jesus in the cornbread type deal. I don't know what it was. I can't remember what it was called. But my stepdad and my mom came to the play. And afterwards, you know, I saw him briefly. And then like maybe 2 months later, I went over to the house to hang out. At this point, we were still talking. We was cool somewhat. Everything seemed to be going smooth. It was a smooth day. And then we all went to the grocery store, and my mom took my son and daughter into the grocery store. So it was just me and Rod in my car. And he just goes, hey, man, I want to talk to you about something. And I was like, well, what's up? He goes, when you did that play a couple months ago, man, we was sitting there and, you know, it was bothering me, man, because in the play, the black dude got with the white girl instead of the black girl. And I heard all these people in the audience going, yeah, fuck that white bitch. I almost said something, man. He goes, because I'm white and I'm proud to be white. But I held my tongue, but I wanted to say something. And I looked at him and I was like, you've been holding on this for 2 months about some play? That's fake, by the way. Make believe. But if you do the chitlin circuit plays, you got to realize the audience yells out a lot. And keep in mind, when he says the audience was yelling white bitch, no, it was probably one lady yelled it. So he held on that for 2 months. And I remember thinking, God dang, you can't just let shit go. Like 2 months. Oh my God. I was just looking at him. I just shook my head. I don't know what you want me to tell you. So anyways, it's his birthday. It also reminds me how society as we are, as the older I get, you know, I see people celebrating St. Patrick's Day and everybody wears green and it's just a fun day. But what you're really doing is you're giving like props to the Irish is what it is. It's St. Paddy's Day, is honor Irish. And nobody gets offended, nobody gets mad, and nobody feels threatened. And I noticed that it's with the Me Too movement and everything else that's going on, especially with black and white. If it's funny how when black people have holidays, whether it's Kwanzaa or anything that they celebrate black culture or just celebrating being black, it's looked at as almost a threat, or it's looked at it like we can't celebrate. Like a lot of white people think we can't celebrate other people being black or celebrating black culture or African culture without it, you know, taking some other meaning. And I just think it's funny, the double standard when you think about St. Patrick's Day and then you think about any quote unquote, not holiday, but anything to celebrate blackness, and people get a little threatened. Just like when I would go to the Black Panthers and the Black Panther movie, and I saw black people dressing up in dashikis and African garb. I didn't take it as a threat or anything, but I heard some white people talking about it, and I was just like, they're excited. Black people are just excited to have a superhero movie, and they're expressing it in that way. No different than if it's a movie that got released on St. Patrick's Day and it's an Irish movie, whatever that would be, maybe an Irish boxer or an Irish soccer team did something or something like that. I don't think anybody be offended by that. I just think it's funny the double standard. It's not a huge deal, but it's just something I noticed. I was in Pittsburgh and Ryan Shazier, who plays for the Steelers, came to my show. I never met him before, and he's an Ohio State guy, so I followed him at Ohio State. But he's kind of like got a love-hate relationship with the city of Cincinnati because he's the one that knocked out Giovanni Bernard in the playoff game, gave him a concussion, and kind of changed the direction of the game a little bit. And then last December, Shazier got hurt where he almost got paralyzed when he took a hit in his back. And he's been in and out of a wheelchair since. And he's going to walk again, but it's going to be a long process. And he hasn't given up on playing again, but it won't be until 2019. But he came to my show and he was like, just a good dude. And we were cutting up and laughing. And I like it when fans are so passionate about their teams. Like Steeler fans are really passionate. Bengal fans are really passionate, especially when you're dealing with the Bengals and Steelers. And it's funny just to sit back and talk to Ryan about the rivalry. And he really just looked at it like it was just another game. He's like, I got hurt. And he was like, yo, you guys got a good team, man. It's just for some reason you can't pull it out in the end. And I was just like, I hate the fact that I'm a huge fan of his now, just because we got to talk for about 30 minutes before my show. And now I'm rooting for him, but I still can't root for the Steelers. So I told him, I said, I'll root for you when you come back, but I can't root for you when you play the Steelers, man. When you play the Bengals. I just can't do it. And which also leads me to, so Ryan posted a video on his Instagram of him doing some pull-ups. He did like 9 in a row. So I make a comment like, that's it, 9? I just did 20, although I did 10 sets of 2. Therein lies the joke. It's funny how I make the comment and all some people saw was, that's it, 9. It's funny when people don't know, like, we're cool now. And he even made a comment on his page laughing. And other people was like, hey, asshole, don't you know he's crippled? He could have not walked again. You're scum of the earth. But it's funny because then some people chime in and they're like, you guys are idiots. Don't you know they friends? He's kidding. It's just funny. People get so uptight over nothing, and then they don't really read the whole comment. Read the whole comment. 10 sets of 2. It's just like I did a video on my Instagram where I told people my son is top of his class. And I did this whole minute-long Instagram video where I was like, so proud of him, top of his class 2 years in a row. I just want to let him know I love him, everything. And I went, oh, yeah, my son's homeschooled, so he's always top of his class. People didn't watch the whole video, and they want to make comments like, oh, you're such a good dad. Oh, I'm proud of my son, too. He's valedictorian, or my daughter. I'm like, did you not see the whole video? And then other people's like, I'm here just to see the comments of the people that didn't see the whole video. And people really commented like that. And I thought that was hysterical because I'm like, damn, they really, or they don't watch the video. They just read what I wrote. Another thing is, I don't know. I mean, the NFL, I've never seen the trades that are going on like the NFL. Like the Jets just moved up and took the Colts' 3rd pick. And now the Colts moved down to be the 6th pick in the NFL draft. And it clearly means the Jets are going after a quarterback. Now they just got Teddy Bridgewater and they re-signed Josh McCown. So it's going to be the Browns, Giants, and Jets. All 3 are taking quarterbacks. Everyone's saying Sam Darnold. I don't see it with Sam Darnold. I would take Josh Allen with the 1st pick. I got a feeling, just a feeling, the Jets are going to go after Baker Mayfield. I don't know why. He had a great pro day. I don't know, man. I think the Jets might go after Baker Mayfield because you really got top 4 quarterbacks. You got Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Rosen from UCLA, and Baker Mayfield from Oklahoma. So clearly the Colts are going to take the Browns are going to take a quarterback, whether it's 1st or 4th. If I'm the Browns, I don't know. I don't know how you can pass up Saquon Barkley unless they call the Giants and Jets and be like, you guys taking a quarterback, right? Because you don't want to pass up on a talent like that. That's like Reggie Bush, but 40 pounds heavier. But what I don't get is like, it's blowing my mind how the Bengals and Bills have become best friends. Okay, one, the Bills signed A.J. McCarron, free agent, get it, ex-Bengal. Then the Bengals get the left tackle from Buffalo. They make a trade. The Bills got the Bengals' 12th pick, and now the Bengals get the Bills' 21st pick. And the Bengals got the Bills left tackle, which the Bengals needed dearly. Now, they did another trade. The Bengals got Preston Brown, the linebacker, from the Bills. I'm like, when did we become best friends with them? Ever since Andy Dalton threw that pass to Tyler Boyd, they got the Bills in the playoffs. I'm like, these dudes here, it's like they're boyfriend and girlfriend looking out for each other. I don't think I've ever seen two teams collaborate like this. And then I see Jeremy Hill goes to the Patriots, and I'm getting so sick of the Patriots taking ex-Bengals, and then they ball out New England. They got Rex Burkhead last year. Years ago, they got Ocho Cinco. They got Marquise Flowers from the Bengals. Now they got Jeremy Hill. And take it back 12 years ago, they got Corey Dillon, the Bengals tailback, and he actually got a Super Bowl ring with the Patriots. I mean, it used to be just the Patriots would just, they like cherry pick Bengals off the waiver wire or free agents. Now you got the Bills and Bengals. I'm like, I'm not mad at it because the Bengals got two people they really needed. They need another linebacker and they needed a left tackle, and the Bills got what they needed. I'm like, I don't know. Hopefully the trade works out for both teams. Now, on another note, I flew to LA, so I'm at baggage claim, and so I'm sitting there waiting on my bags, and all of a sudden these two dudes come yelling at these other two dudes from like 3 baggage claims away. And I'm like, do they know each other? And clearly they know each other. So I'm thinking it's one of those, the dude's going to yell, and then he gets up there and they hug and they're kidding. Nah, he gets up there. These two dudes get each other's face. So now there's 4 dudes. 2 dudes was walking by baggage claim and 2 dudes was at baggage claim. Immediately, all 4 of them just start fighting, like throwing blows at baggage claim in LAX. And I'm like, am I seeing this? So then they're fighting. Then they stop and they start talking. And then they go outside of baggage claim and they're right outside the doors and they start fighting again. And I'm like, and then they start talking again. And I'm like, what are they fighting or do they know each other? And the whole time, the cops never show up. I go, where the fuck are the cops? Cops never show up. So now I'm like, my mind's boggled. I'm like, what the fuck? So then I make a post on Instagram about it where I said I saw these 2 dudes had gold fronts, pants sagging. And I went, and they're fighting, they're hip hop wannabes. And I went, oh yeah. And they were white. They weren't black, they were white, even though 2 of the guys had gold fronts. So fast forward 3 days later, I flew from Columbus to LAX. I had a direct. So now I'm on LAX to Columbus because I'm at the Columbus Funny Bone. I see 2 of the dudes at at one of the little convenience stores inside LAX. 2 of the dudes got in a fight are sitting there. The 2 dudes that were on opposite ends of the fight, they're just together, like buying stuff and being polite to people, like, have a nice day. Oh, I appreciate it. You got some water and candy. I go, dude, what the fuck is going on with these people? I never seen nothing like it. I was like, so they get in a fight. 3 days later, they're on my flight back from LAX to Columbus, and they're just BSing like nothing happened. Clear they made up. I'm like, the fuck was that? I was so lost. I was looking at them like, hold on. I just saw you guys in a fight Monday. I landed Monday morning, 9 a.m. into LAX. So they're fighting early in the morning. I'm on the red eye Wednesday night. So it's 2.5 days later. And they're on that flight. And I saw them I remember the guy who got like some chips and water and they were together. Like, they were buds. And I was like, and I literally called my wife and I was like, you ain't gonna believe this shit. Those 4 guys that got in a fight, 2 of them are at LAX right now. And they're together. Like they were on opposite ends of the fight. Like the greasers and the socials from the outsiders. Just hanging out. I was like, I don't have no friends like that. Once you start throwing, yeah, that changes the friendship tremendously at that point. I don't know. Young people today are amazing because I always say, and I think this is just over the test of time, like you just got to make it to 25 and then things starts to make sense. Like you start to make the right decisions. And if somebody bumps you, you're not going to be like, hey man, don't bump me. You just let it go. Shit rolls off. It reminded me, I had a friend of mine in the Navy and she sent me like 5 pictures on my phone of just old pictures that she found from us in the Navy. And she's married now. And I was with her when she met her husband. Here's how her and her husband met in the Navy. This girl I went to high school with, her and her brother both joined the Navy. Now, her brother was stationed somewhere, and then she was stationed somewhere. So she gets stationed in San Diego. I'm in San Diego. This girl calls me. Her name's Amy. Amy calls, like, yeah, I'm in San Diego. So we start hanging out for a couple months because old high school friend and everything. And then her brother calls her and says, hey, I got a buddy of mine. He's getting ready to get stationed in San Diego. Will you show him around when he gets there? So he comes, his first weekend in San Diego, he doesn't know anybody. He comes and hangs out with me and Amy and some other friends. So we all go to a bar. And immediately he gets a little too drunk and he almost gets in like 3 fights at the bar. And me and my guys aren't like that. The dudes I hung out with, we're trying to tell him, like, dude, we don't do that. We don't do bar fights. We laugh and have a good time. We ain't that dude. So I'm looking at Amy like, yo, what's up with your brother's friend, man? Like, he's trying to start. She goes, I don't know, I never hung out with him. So he gets so tanked and we go back to my apartment and it's about 3 a.m. So I tell Amy, I'm going to go down and get your friend. He's passed out in the backseat of my car. So I go downstairs and I live in an apartment complex in San Diego. And I'm just parked on the street. So he's in the backseat of my car. I said, hey, Brian, his name's Brian. Brian, come on, man, let's go up, man. That's how he goes. He goes, man, he's out of it. He goes, man, fuck you. Man, fuck you. And then he starts laughing. He goes, want to know what? And I go, what, man? He goes, I'm smooth. And then he passed out. That's his last word was, want to know what? I'm smooth. And then he passed out. I come back upstairs and I see Amy. I go, I told the whole story about he's smooth. So we just left him in the car. So I don't know at what point did he come upstairs, but he came up. And what I miss about my Navy days, and I was telling somebody about this, we used to go out and we used to party and get drunk and on the weekends. And it'd be like, on the average weekend, it'd be like 8 to 10 people at me and my roommate's apartment. And the next morning, we'd all be up making eggs and bacon and toast. And I just remember, I miss those hungover breakfasts that we're just in there cooking and talking about the night before. And so we're in there all doing that. We're cooking. Here comes Smooth, Brian. He doesn't know what happened. So we're laughing about everything. He ends up being a great guy. I don't know what happened that night. You know, you're by yourself and out of your element. So that really wasn't his character. But he ended up being a good dude. And him and Amy are married to this day. They've been married for like 20 years. And it was funny because like for 10 years, every time I saw him, I called him Smooth to the point where I forgot his name was Brian. So every time I say, what's up, Smooth? Hey, Smooth. And then finally he pulled me aside like 8, 9 years ago. And he was like, Gary, man, you mind calling me Brian? I'm not Smooth, man. I got kids now. So he was so polite about it and cool. And I was like, yeah, man, of course, my fault. Hey, man, you might call me Brian because I got kids now. I don't want to know I was some drunk ass Navy sailor back in the day. Yeah, man, no problem. And it was funny. Like I had such a great trip to LA this past time. I had 3, 4 good meetings. And I'm not going to lie, man, I've been, especially in entertainment business, you get frustrated at times in your career because you wonder why you're not getting more. And it's always a struggle. I think when you get one Oscar, you want another Oscar. You get one movie, you want another movie. You get a TV show, you want another TV show. I get it. I temper my frustration. I vent with my wife and my manager is who gets it from me. When I'm frustrated, I talk to them about it. And also this podcast, it helps. I mean, you get a chance to talk because more recently, you know, it's pilot season. I've been doing these auditions and I really think I've hit my stride as far as like auditions go. Like I send my auditions in and I really think they're good. They're solid. And I'm just like, I hear it's a numbers game and you keep auditioning and eventually your number comes up and then you start getting offers. And it just hasn't happened for me yet as far as auditions go. And I'm telling my manager, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm hitting these auditions right, I think. And she goes, yeah, everybody's happy with it. And then I got a call, and when I get done with my podcast, I got to do this another audition for this film. And where this audition came from was the casting director. I read for him or her. I don't know if it's a he or she, but I sent a tape in for something else. And then they sent this movie to my agency saying, yo, I want to see Gary for this part. So I don't have the part, but it just shows that the process is working, because I didn't know. I wasn't right for something else, but they thought of me for this. So we'll see what happens. It might be nothing. I don't know. But, the frustration it builds when you don't get a lot of acting jobs at a certain point, but it's a big temp job. And then you might get 4 acting jobs in a row. And it's just, I met with this one studio, and the lady said it best to me. And I couldn't figure out, I can't pinpoint what I'm about sometimes, or what's going on, and why I'm not getting more work as far as acting. And my manager had to remind me, Gary, you turned down 2 movies last year. And I was like, oh yeah, I did. Like, I know who I am, and I'm very comfortable in my own skin. But it's like, how do we get like mainstream, which is basically white Hollywood, to get on board with me? Because, Black people all know who I am. And it's what I told my manager and my agent. I was like, yo, I think the frustrating part is everyone's just waiting for me to be in another movie. They're just kind of waiting, all my fans. And I remember seeing Jump in the Broom. And I remember, even though that wasn't Mike Epps' movie, I remember when Mike Epps came on the screen about 30 minutes into the movie, the whole theater went, oh, like this energy came over. I'm like, oh, okay. Now Epps is in it. Now it's going to be funnier. They were just expecting something. But I remember like this little burst of energy came in the room, in the theater with Mike Epps. And I go, I know that's where I'm at in my career. I know the next decent movie I'm in, like mainstream movie, is the audience can be like, oh shit, there he is. And you just know it. And I know I got a fan base, and I know I bring value, and I can help promote and move some tickets. And that's the frustrating part. Now, I don't get mad. It's just I know what I know. And I met with the studio, and she said it best. This girl who I'm meeting with, which I hope to do business with in the future. She said, here's who you are, Gary. You're Elvis, you're Channing Tatum, you're Mark Wahlberg, you're Justin Timberlake. They go, you're the white guy that Black people like hanging out with, that like being around, that want to be around, but you're just that in a comedy realm. You're the comedic version of that. She goes, we just got to get like Hollywood and networks on board to see that, because they don't see it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's how I always thought of myself too. I guess that's why it's so frustrating. Like, yo, I got a fan base, right? But I don't get mad. And I don't get mad at my agent or my manager. I know they're busting their ass for me. It's just, I think it's a little frustrating, but it's also, in this business, entertainment business, I'm not promised anything, and nobody owes me anything. So they're just gonna, put who they want to put in their movies and stuff. But it's just like, and then another thing, I guess it's frustrating. Like, I'll deliver, and I'm at a point where I get it. Like, I've worked with my acting coach for years, and I've been through pilot season numerous times. And, 3 years ago I did pilot season, but it wasn't good. I'll be the first to admit, I was just trying to memorize my lines without putting any emotion behind it. I just thought I was good going in there going, oh, he knows his lines. But I really went in the scene. And then 2 years ago, I went out for pilot season, and I really thought I was in it. Like, okay, I did decent. I got some callbacks, but I just didn't land anything. Then last year, I didn't really do pilot season. I was developing. Now this pilot, I'm back for pilot season again. And I've hit some great auditions, but just for whatever reason, I didn't get the part. But I'm happy with the auditions that I'm sending out. But I thought that was like, I couldn't put into words like, who am I and why aren't I getting more roles, until that lady said to me, she goes, that's who you are. And we just have to get Hollywood on board to figure out that's who you are and to know. Because once they know you're that type of white dude, those white dudes take off. Yeah, it's just it was a little frustrating week. I had to vent with my my manager for a little bit, and she had to remind me, Gary, you turned down 2 movies last year. I said, oh yeah, I forgot. Like one movie was just, the part was pointless, and I wasn't gonna do it. And I have to weigh my options now, because I'm not gonna go do a movie where I got like one line. That's pointless to me. Or I'm not gonna cancel 6 weeks of stand up for a movie that I don't think I'm going to bring anything to, that they can hire anybody. That's what happened. I'm not going to say the movie, but one movie they asked me to do it, and they wanted to hold me for 6 weeks and take me off the road for 6 weeks. And we tried to negotiate with them, like, can he at least do stand-up? And then I tried to work with them, like, can I do 3 weeks of stand-up work? And they were just like, nah, we got him for 6 weeks. And the money was so bad. And for me, it was bad. And there wasn't any back end. There wasn't any incentive if the movie did well. So I was just like, and then when the movie came out, I saw it and I was like, yeah, I made the right choice. That nobody would have saw that movie and been like, oh, that dude. Because it really wasn't a lot of funny scenes for me to do. I was probably the 8th lead if I would have taken that movie. It was kind of like when I did Little Man up in Vancouver. Man, I was at a different point in my career, but that movie took a long time to shoot because we had to shoot our scenes. Then Marlon had to do his scenes on green screen. So every time we would shoot a scene, then Marlon had to shoot his scene. And man, there was a lot of days where I was just sitting around in my room, not doing anything up in Vancouver. And this was pre-internet. I had no laptop back then. There was no iPhones back then because this was 12 years ago. And I remember just sitting in my room playing like blackjack on my phone. That was the only game I had. And then I started watching Degrassi. And like Drake was in a wheelchair on Degrassi. Degrassi High was the TV show. And I was just sitting around going, all right. I mean, I was on a weekly rate. I was getting paid every week, but it was just like, I did a lot of sitting around. And where I'm at now in my career, when these people called to do the movie I turned down, I was like, oh, I just don't want to be. And I think that's what would have happened. They wanted me on hold the whole time. Because I remember when we shot Think Like a Man 2. We shot it in Vegas. And I remember every weekend, everybody would go home. Like we get off Friday, everybody would catch a Southwest flight and everybody just go back to LA. Well, I lived in Cincinnati. So I remember one time we got off early on a Friday and I said, oh, I'm just going to go home. So I caught a flight home. Friday night, I get home. I literally landed and my phone was ringing off the hook. And I answered the phone when I landed in Cincinnati. They're like, we need you back tomorrow, which was Sunday. They's like, we got this one scene we got to shoot. And it was a small scene in the movie, but they go, but we only got the casino and we got these old ladies we need for the scene tomorrow. So I flew all the way home to Cincy, got home Friday night, slept Friday night in my bed. Then Saturday night, I had to fly back to Vegas because I had to be on set Sunday. And it's not the studio's fault. They paid me to be in Vegas. If I left, it's on me during my days off. That can happen. So I never got a chance to go home again when we shot the movie because I was like, I couldn't risk it. Because I was like, man. I basically kissed my wife, got 2 pumps in the back, and that was it. I was like, big, welcome home. Good to see you too. Pump it twice. And I was in and out with the quickness. All right, babe. Holla back. So the next time I do a podcast, I'll be doing it from Hawaii, from my balcony on the beach. So, because I'm always if you go on vacation, part of the vacation is where you stay. Because when I grew up, when my mom said that, I remember one time we drove down to Florida to Cocoa Beach and we stayed with an uncle, and the hotels we stayed at was so shitty on the way down. We stayed at one in Valdosta, Georgia. And I remember there were 6 of us in a hotel room. And I remember thinking, my brother literally slept on my back. Like I laid on the bed. There was no more rooms on the bed. So he just laid down on my back. So I'm laying face down. It was like almost like a bear or a monkey on the back of another big monkey. Cause he was little. I was like, I had to be I was 10. He was 2. And Dallas was like crawled up and just went to sleep on my back because there was no more room. in the hotel. So now when I remember growing up though, like we didn't go on a lot of vacations. We went on 2. We went on one when I was 10 and one when I was 15. And I remember every time we went on vacation, we stayed at these shithole hotels. We didn't make like reservations ahead of time. We would just like drive until nobody could drive anymore. And then you pull off to the side of the road and find a hotel. And I thought a nice hotel was when it had, we have HBO and ESPN. I thought those type of hotels, I was like, oh, this is plush. They got cable. They got HBO. And nowadays, I realize it's all about where you stay when you go on vacations. You got to stay at a nice place. I mean, I always tell people, if you're going to go on vacation, just do it right. And I tell people, if you're going with your lady, if you're going with a girl, you want to get a room with a balcony that overlooks the beach. I mean, spend a little extra money on it because it's worth it because that's part of the trip. And it's something about that ocean water in Hawaii and that breeze coming in your room. That shit is like Viagra. I don't know what's in that shit, but my shit be rock in my room. I always told my wife, get ready. Now that's not a hysterectomy. That's me. Because I'm coming hard in Hawaii. And it's like, we never have like, we don't, it's funny when you're in Hawaii, we never, I'm telling too much. So my wife's going to kick my ass if she hears this, but we never do it at night. It's always in the morning. It's like we wake up and just go at it. Because at night, it's funny because if you're in Hawaii, the whole day goes by and you don't realize the sun beats you up a little bit, the sand, and usually we're doing tourist stuff. We're in the car, we're climbing up mountains and seeing waterfalls. When you get back at night, you get a shower, you're done. But then you just pass out because you're tired. And then the next morning you wake up. But I tell people, man, get a room with a balcony by the ocean. I said, leave that open. Leave that damn sliding glass door open and let that ocean breeze come in. It's almost like God breathing on you going, fuck. It's like a breeze. It's like, I want you guys to fuck. I don't know what's up with that Hawaii water. Man, that shit's amazing. That shit will reinvigorate your sex life quick. Fuck. I want you to fuck. That shit's amazing, man. Every time I go to Hawaii, I'm going to get it in. The biggest upset in the history of the NCAA tournament happened, and it was UMBC. I didn't even know what it stood for. University of Maryland, Baltimore County. What's that tell you about the school? They don't even know where they at. That means that school is so small that they have to tell everybody down to no, you're in Maryland, you're in Baltimore, and you're also in the county. They got to let you know exactly where that school's at. Because that's all I need to know. UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, beat Virginia. And first time a number 16's beating a 1. And it was a blowout. I watched the game. And it's funny because to me, that's like Buster Douglas beating Mike Tyson. That's like USA beating Russia. But to me, if I'm being honest with myself, Villanova has the best team, I think. I mean, from top to bottom, they're experienced. They got it. And guard play is big in the NCAA tournament. If you got good guards, they control everything. It ain't about the big guys or the forwards. It's the guard play. That's why I always look when I pick my upsets. Whenever I'm looking like a 5-12 or 4-13, I always look at teams that have like senior guards from those mid-majors. And I'll be like, okay, those guys aren't going to get rattled. They've been through it. And I'm like, look at Loyola Chicago. They got good guards. Whenever the team's upset. I remember a few years ago, like Vermont had like, they had 10 guys and it was like 8 of them was seniors. And they went to the Sweet 16 and I picked them because I was like, they're all seniors. I was like, they just don't play anybody. But if you get a senior-laden squad, I'd be like, okay, say what you want. Kentucky's fine, but you get those guards in there the junior, senior year, they just control it. And that Brunson from Villanova, he looks like a guy I wouldn't pick at the Y. Like, I'd go over him. But, God, that guy can ball. But it makes you feel old because I remember his dad playing. And his dad didn't see it. I'm like, these kids are... It's funny when you grow up and you look at college kids and they look so old. And then you get old. Then they look so young. I'm like... These guys are kids. I have nothing in common with them. And then you see their dads in the stands, and like the dad's your age. I'm like, When the fuck did I get old? When did that happen? It's like when I started doing stand-up, I did more colleges when I first started doing stand-up, and I would get excited when I got a contract from a college. Now, I haven't done a college in like 2 years, and even if I get a college offer, I'm like, fuck. Like, I have nothing to talk about to college kids. Nothing. And I did an interview with Vlad TV. He's asked me about stand-ups being censored and apologizing and for jokes and stuff. I said, look, man, stand-up ain't going anywhere. People go there because that's like the last line of free speech as at comedy clubs. And so that's when people are like, are you scared stand-up's going to go away? Stand-up's never going to go away. And with that, we was talking about apologies. We was talking about like Tracy Morgan had to apologize for a joke he said, and Hannibal Buress did, and I did a couple years ago. And I was like, let me tell you something about apologies and stand-ups. We don't mean it. That's our publicist or PR firm spinning it is all it is. But let me tell you something. Any stand-up that takes the time to come up with a joke, you don't just come up with a joke off the top of your head most of the time. It's a thought-out bit. So you've thought about it. And then one person, two people take offense and make all the noise. Well, most people don't give a shit. Now you got to apologize. And I'm like, none of us mean it. I guarantee you, Tracy Morgan, he didn't mean his apology. Hannibal Buress didn't mean it. That didn't come from him. That's just the PR firm and his agent saying, yo, we got to spin this and make this go away. That's what happened to me. I had a joke I had to apologize for. I didn't mean it. I just did it to make all the shit go away, all the negative press. So that's what I'd be saying. I'm like, no, stand-up ain't going anywhere. We're not going to get censored. And whenever you hear a stand-up apologize for a joke, we don't mean it. I'm letting you know. We don't mean it. Especially if you told the joke and it got a lot of laughs at your show. So you want me to apologize for a joke that people laughed at? Nah, I don't mean that. I'll tell you right now, I don't mean it. Ever. I just did my apology because they were trying to, I ain't going to get into it. I did an apology for a joke, but I'm telling you right now, I didn't mean it. That was my publicist wrote that apology. And if you know me, when you saw my apology, I said, man, this is way too smart for me to say. I didn't even understand my apology. It was so well written. I was like, whoa, that's a good ass apology. So just so you know, if you take nothing else away from this podcast, if you ever hear a stand-up comedian apologize for a joke, they don't mean it. I don't care how vulgar, how offensive it is to some people. They don't mean it. We don't. We're there for the laughs. We're there to push the envelope. We're there to make the uncomfortable comfortable. That's what we do. You know, just like I got a joke right now where I talk about I could never jump on a grenade and save people's lives like that if I was in the military. I said, I'm not the type of American hero. And a guy came up to me after my show in Orlando about a month ago, and he had a prosthetic leg. And he just said, hey, man, you don't jump on a grenade, you kick it. This motherfucker lost his leg in war to an IED or a bomb, and he can laugh at it. He can laugh at that shit. And I'm like, that meant so much to me. That's when I said, all right, I can say whatever I want. You can't tell me shit about jokes. And it's my job to know what's too far and what's not. I know how far to push the envelope and whatnot. The only time you'd ever hear me apologize if the N-word ever came out of my mouth. But it won't. I'm not that stupid. The N-word will never come out of my mouth on stage like that. But that'd be the only time I'd apologize. That's it. So anyways, that's all I got. This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. I'll see y'all next week.